but so fast went from like that family member to a point where he's a stranger and trusts his AI over everything.
Etienne, so great to have you on the program today.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You've asked us not to identify your family member, but I'm curious about how your loved one first encountered that chatbot.
Yeah, my loved one is someone a little bit older, he's in his 50s, and he was using Facebook and saw an ad basically that ChatGPT was a tool to write books. So he always wanted to write a book, started going on ChatGPT, started writing his books, and as he wrote it, his chatbot was like, wow, this is such a brilliant book, and it's gonna do so well. And he started asking questions around kind of the chatbot and why it was saying that stuff. In 6 days, it went to him writing a book, to him being hospitalized. I have no previous mental health history. I remember my mom calling me, crying, not understanding what was going on. And until it was the first time I heard about psychosis at that time. And I tried to kind of understand, but so fast went from like that family member to a point where he's a stranger and trusts his AI over everything. So 6 days is quick, and never thought it could be that quick, to be honest.
How bad did it get?
Yeah, it went to a point where he stopped eating, stopped sleeping, was just spending all his time on his chatbot. So someone in my family and sent someone to check up on him. And when they did, they said, no, it's clearly like in delusion, it doesn't seem right. And he became really, really angry, threatened to go spit on our grave. We weren't his family anymore. And so we got a court-ordered hospitalization. And when the police came to his house to get him in, he asked his ChatGPT, can you tell the police I'm not crazy? His ChatGPT wrote a text telling the police basically that he's not crazy. He just needs someone to listen to him. He has a big breakthrough. And when they read that, they were puzzled. They didn't know what to do, right? They still ended up taking him to the hospital, but they kind of were shocked that even at that point, like the chatbot was telling the police he wasn't crazy.
Wow. How is that family member doing now?
Better. I would say like what we're seeing with a lot of people going through something like that is that the dopamine receptors in the brain are going so like over time, working so hard that people struggle after with short-term memory loss or depression or like just trying to find joy in small things. So he's doing better, and there's still like stuff even after a year that are still happening.
You know, this experience inspired you to start the Human Line Project. Tell our viewers what that is and what the goal is.
So what we do at the Human Line is take human stories, work with real people to empower them to share their story. For research purposes, we're working with Stanford, King's College, McGill to understand what's going on, but also working with governments and policymakers and also lawyers to get solution into place.
So who are the people coming, to the Human Line Project?
Everyone got an interest. So we got, I think, 200 people who went through it themselves. We got another 100 members who had family members or friends who went through a similar situation, but also just, like I said, doctors, professors, psychologists, clinicians, everyone who has an interest and seeing something similar in their own life or reaching out.
It could be any of us, essentially.
Yeah, I would never have believed it. A year ago, if you told me something like that, probably would have doubted, right? Oh, dismiss it. This only happened to X, Y, and Z or vulnerable people. But having talked with over 200 people reaching out to us, I'm finding that if I had them in my life, I would have not said this is the person who will fall prey of that. So that was a big surprise for me. And also, like, my family member was not someone I considered vulnerable. So kind of a big reason why I started this.
Etienne, if any of us could be vulnerable to this, then what are the red flags we have to be watching for?
Yeah, I would say if you have family members, you start spending more time on their cell phone or start trusting ChatGPT over you. I know some friends of mine kind of go to ChatGPT as a figure of authority or other LLMs out there as a figure of authority, but if someone start trusting and kind of close them when you go against them, I would start asking questions. If they prefer spending time with their chatbot instead of real life interaction, I would be kind of maybe a red flag, potential red flag.